Hey guys, welcome back to Terror of God New World. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Vespa. I've done about 4 hours of testing with this character, both in campaign on my account with a single copy, and also maxed out in the arena trial. Just keep in mind when we go to the arena trial, I try to simulate it as best as I can, but like you just can't simulate exactly what the gameplay is like in campaign or anything like that, but I feel like I got it pretty close, so I'll go through my testing there. Basically, TLDR is, I think Vespa does have a pretty niche use in campaign at just a single copy. So the fact that everyone gets a free copy, if you don't know how, watch my video talking about it where I go through the event and how to basically get your free copy of Vespa. You just basically do the exchange and then do the events and get refunded your 10 pool. But that's fantastic because I feel like at one copy this character has some usage because there's something in the final skill that isn't actually listed on it that makes the character work a tiny little bit. Not every situation, not completely splashable, but in situations Vespa can, I think, work for people to help you get through tricky stages. But maxed out, I'm really not liking what I see. I'll show you the testing when we look at maxed out Vespa versus like EWA testing and stuff like that. But I just can't find a situation, especially in campaign, where I think a maxed out Vespa would be worth it. Maybe in bosses, but I'm not going to max out a character just for bosses. So that is my thoughts so far. But let's go through the skills quickly. This one's going to be the ultimate, which is the sting. It's which poisons them for 20 seconds, gives them extra damage. Also, it's going to then reduce their swiftness by 20 for the first 10 seconds, 40 for the next 10 seconds, and then it's going to paralyze them for 4 seconds. This is the one where we do like basically 3 attacks and you deal some damage, but then you're also going to have their blood flow interrupted for 20 seconds, becoming paralyzed for 2 seconds each time Vespa or her bees attack 20 times. So once you get 20 hits in on with Vespa or the bees, you're going to get the paralysis proc. This is the one where the bees continuously attack, and if the enemy is paralyzed, it's a guaranteed critical hit. So next up we have the passive. So obviously we get the big defense increase, which is always nice. But the thing about this one that's huge is if Vespa receives a constant damage debuff, bees pour honey, giving the heal. Where is it? This one. If Vespa's HP drops to 20% or less, she activates a honey pot to heal 40% of her HP, providing constant damage debuff immunity to nearby allies for 20 seconds. This thing, it doesn't tell you, but this works as a cheat death. So you get like sort of like 3 seconds of death immunity with this ability. Once again, it's not listed in there, and I don't know how to explain it other than that, but it's like you get like a 3-second cheat death. So this is where a single copy of Vespa in campaign can actually be kind of functional. So what I want to show you is I haven't managed to clear it. I've been stuck on this bloody stage since the last day of last week, and it's absolutely killing me. I'm trying everything I can. I can easily do one side, but not the other side. It's just the problem is this guy. This is the side that's killing me. If I use Bomb and Evan on this side, I'm pretty safe, but I'm trying to split it up at the moment. But this dude absolutely gives me the shits. Both my characters based around crit, and I just cannot kill this piece of shit. I cannot kill him. I cannot kill him. He's killing me. Unless I go full investment on this side, I can't do it. But I'm experimenting. So this is the kind of situation where I think Vespa, and it's getting me kind of close, but this is a situation where I think Vespa can have some really good usability, and that is if you're using a yellow team, but I think it makes more sense if you're using a Hats carry, because with a Hats carry, by the time Vespa dies, Hats will have his spinning blades up, which means he can then avoid more damage, which means Vespa takes the early heat, and then your Hats can then do the pseudo tanking after that. The problem in my team is that I'm doing it with EWA, and once Vespa dies, they obviously have full access to my entire team. So I think if you've got a Hats carry, Vespa in certain situations can be fantastic, and the main situations in which I would put Vespa in over a Data Zahad or a Data Mashni is in these situations when you're trying to use a yellow team against a purple team. So if I drop Vespa for Data Zahad, say, now I am weak towards this enemy with all my characters, where if I go here, I'm now neutral, but due to the the awakening buff on, or the, what do they call it? The constellation buff, whatever it is, on my Ihwa, I now actually have advantage over those enemies because of that. So the other situation, if this enemy was 4 purple and 1 other, then I could do the same thing. And now my whole team's got the advantage over that purple team. And I think that is where Vespa really comes in. And because I think most people are either using an Ihwa or a Hats carry, you know, it's a pretty good situation in which you can take this character in. So I'll jump into this battle and I'll show you. Now, this character has a thing at the start of the battle where she'll is it she or he? I don't even know. Where they'll randomly nuke one of my teammates. So this is where RNG comes in. But let's just have a look and see what happens. But you'll see the survival that that Vespa has at the start of this battle. And this is like the main usage I think most people can try. Once again, you all get a free copy. So just give it a spin and see how you go. Tech it in every once in a while and see if you can clutch a win, would be my suggestion on that one. So let's just quickly get through this side. If we win, I'd be super hyped. No, we're not going to win that. That's dead. All right. So let's jump into this next side. Let's take a look. Dude, I'm so frustrated with this stage. All right, so let's slow the speed down quickly. All right, so you can see Vespa's at 1 HP, but still alive, still alive, still alive, still alive, getting nuked, and then it goes down. So it's not like a Data Zahard or Data Mashni level of survival that is offered, but it's still pretty solid. And as you can see, it did stall enough for me to get my Ihwa ult off, but it won't be enough to get my Evan ult off, and that's the problem I'm having with trying this at the moment. But you can see that she does offer that little bit of survival option at the start of battle. It's nowhere near that of a Data Zahard or a Data Mashni, but it is still something that can get you by a little bit. So if you're struggling on a stage with a yellow carry against purple units, I think that is the main situation. Now, it could be argued but that you could use this kind of strategy against other enemies, but you know, it's one of those things. The game is full RNG, so if you just swap it up, put Vespa in, sometimes you might get that RNG, but maybe as an off tank on one of either the left or right side to survive the initial hit so that the rest of your team doesn't get nuked, that could be another use for it as well. Does anyone have a fix to this? Whenever I go in, the camera on my second fight is always turned off, and I've got to manually turn it on every fight. It's so annoying. But yeah, that is my main usage for Vespa, is like a pseudo stall tank, but very, very poor and only in niche situations, or as an off tank on one of the sides just to block the heat and survive for a tiny little bit. But those are the two situations in which I can see people getting use out of Vespa. As I said, I wouldn't go full deep into, you know, like going all in on summons for Vespa. I'll show you what I've done in testing over here in the, nope, that's not it, in the arena simulation. All right, so this is, I've tried a ton of formations with Vespa. So this is the team formation that the enemies are that I'm on in campaign at the moment, because this is what I wanted to experiment with. I've got them at the same Ascension, I've got them at the same exclusive equipment and the same level, and they don't have gear. But for some reason, they're at 8.5 in this, whereas in campaign, they're at 10 million. So I don't know how this simulation actually works. It's a bit buggy in my opinion. But if I swap the team over to be my Ihwa and then the Shibisu, this is the team that I can use to actually beat it. Now, I've got my units levels lower than what my actual units are now because I was trying to even out that power. Wait, we're actually even higher now, so I might, you know, screw it. But like, if I enter battle, you can see what sort of happens here with the Ihwa. Like I said, I've spent hours in here trying to balance it out, find a safe point for testing, because I wanted to test out, like, if I had a, oh, dude, that's what it is. Wait, I screwed up. My Ihwa, so I was testing Vespa at max, but my Ihwa is at 3 orange, and that's what the difference is. So this is a bit more on par with what I'm looking at, and also my Shibisu is at 0 stars. So that's the difference there. Close that. All right, so this is roughly the kind of thing that I'm looking at in campaign at the moment. So like I said, you'll see that with this one, like, sometimes we'll just fail or sometimes we'll clear it. Depends if Evan dies instantly or not. To the Shibisu, no, he didn't. So we should be pretty good in this one, where we might just lose to the Hats at the end. But this is pretty much what was happening for me in campaign when I used this team. And eventually we just get the wins. But let's take a look. Okay, you can see we just lost at the end there. Now, if I keep retrying this, we will get the win. But wait, why did she move off of the A, dude? And the other thing with this simulation thing is like it's so buggy on like changing settings in between battles. I don't know. I'm having trouble with it, but you get the idea. Like we can hit that pretty hard, do pretty well against this. So what happens is what I was testing was, and I tried multiple formations. To make this work. And I think with Vespa, like if you're trying to use Vespa as your like carry and tank, you're probably going to be using it with Evan. And the problem with Evan is it instantly turns Vespa invisible. So you've still got to be running that Dart as a Heart or Dart Mashini with it to take the early heat. Otherwise, you're kind of boned. So then I just went and tested it like this. We've got the 35 on the exclusive equipment, which is good. And then I was testing around with dropping Shibisu because he's not really needed in that team. That was just a tech pick that I had in the other team. Putting her in there, giving her some of the extra stars that I've got on my account. I think she's at like 3 purple-ish, something like that. Because I was trying to test this realistically for where my account's at. You can see we're at 2 million power. We're at like a 3.5x deficit, which in reality, I was clearing this at about a 5x deficit. So that is what it is. And as you can see, this enemy team, for some reason, why does the enemy team keep getting lower? Or did it keep getting lower? I don't know. Oh, wait, the enemy team is not getting the faction buff. That's what it is. Like I said, this thing is a bit buggy, but I want to show you because, like I said, with the Iwa, it was acting fairly similar to what my campaign battles are acting like when I use that team. So I jumped in and I tested Vespa. Like I said, I tested Vespa in many, many formations, but I just couldn't get the character to work. So as you'll see here, we're maxed out, so we're getting an early ult. So we're going to put that sting on. And as you'll see, like it's doing like wet noodle damage. Like it eventually does a little bit, but we get the invincibility. Then we go boom, and we've killed the one enemy so far. We can go again. We can get the poison, but I just don't think, I feel like the meta of the game in every aspect at the moment is to just like nuke. And even though Vespa did do a decent bit of damage, like doing slow, steady damage on a single target in campaign or arena just doesn't seem like the viable option to me. And keeping in mind that was maxed out, we've got 3 other yellow units, so we're getting the additional benefits of the whatchamacallit. Now, I don't know where, skills should be increased as well with the limit break as well, so we should be pretty fine. So I just don't think the damage is there. And then like you can't then do this and put it in like a full yellow team. See, look at that. Why did this slot turn into level 169? I have no idea. Like the simulation is more hassle than it's worth in my opinion. But like we can put it in something like this. And the problem with anything like this is, if you're doing a yellow team, you're probably going to be running Evan. And if you're trying to run Vespa as your carry, then Vespa's going to go invisible. Now this one's different because we had 2 power leveled slots, which means the Ihwa went up. So maybe it's a strategy if you want to like max out a Vespa and use it as a tank, that you can power level 2 slots, but I don't think you'll be pushing the same deficit as you could be, which kind of makes it not as worth it for me. So that's pretty much my testing so far. That's what I've been looking at. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be viable. It's always hard to do it based on the simulation, because the simulation to me is a little bit bugged. It's just really frustrating because it always changes your slot levels and stuff like that every time you come in. So it's a lot more effort than it's worth in my opinion, but I got enough testing out of it to be happy that I don't want any more Vespas. I just don't think the character is worth it. Maybe later on when we get more stall type units and more paralysis where you can, I don't know, maybe there's a situation in the future where Vespa becomes worth it. For me, at the moment, I don't think so. But once again, I have not tested for 5 weeks using Vespa as my main carry and stuff like that. So I could be wrong, but that's my personal thoughts so far. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.